Stigma refers to negative beliefs about a group of people just because they belong to this particular identity. So when we talk about mental health stigma, it is a set of negative beliefs that are associated with having received a diagnosis or having had an experience of a mental health difficulty.
When folks first come to PARC, it's important for us to understand that this is not easy for any of them. Sometimes it's their very first experience with a mental health situation. And so there's a lot of preconceived notions about what that might look like. Sometimes they're the notions of stigma or kind of misconceptions of what mental health is and how service is delivered can really impede and impact how they see us. And so that first initial meeting with the consumer, with the family, is again just introducing to them that there's a lot of moving pieces, and all these pieces are here to help them move down that road of recovery.
In my work with people, I see stigma come through the most in people's belief of kind of holding on to this mental patient role. Perhaps that means that I'm not going to be able to finish school. I could work, but I might not be able to meaningfully participate in work that I once thought I could do. And I think that that's how I see stigma show up the most, is kind of holding on to that role instead of fully seeing yourself as like a self-actualized person or somebody that's capable of something more.
The stigma around psychosis is pervasive. One of the most stigmatized mental health conditions that people experience is schizophrenia. There are often a range of negative beliefs that people have that are myths and that are not true, but those include things like people with psychosis are violent, that people with psychosis cannot work, that people with psychosis need to be taken care of and are not able to care for themselves.
Psychosis can be very scary and it can be very isolating. And I think it's helpful to let individuals who are experiencing it and their families know that they're not alone. And it doesn't mean, anything negative about them. It's just something that can happen. But the good thing is that we know how to treat it and we know what to do about it.
We need to continue to think about how complex things can be. And that means we can always keep evolving and keep innovating and keep trying to offer better and better treatments.
We have, weekly meetings where we discuss every patient on the team, and we all also recognize that, where we may not be as skilled in something, somebody else on the team is, and that's why we work together to try to find the best solution for whatever the patient may be going through.
The stigma of psychosis impacts families in profound ways as well, in part because families might wonder what is possible for their loved one. They might have been exposed to these stigmatizing messages and think that because their loved one has this diagnosis that they can't get better or that they're not going to be able to work, or worry about the ways in which their loved one will be perceived when they go out into the world. And so stigma can really impact families in a lot of profound ways. It can have them keeping this a secret and not telling people about it, so then they're not getting the support and help that they need.
I try to give people hope and let them know that I do think that recovery is possible, and that looks very different for everybody. That's not to say that you're never going to hear a voice again, or that you're never going to feel, scared sometimes. But what recovery looks like is being able to live with your experiences and have a better way of coping with them.